Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Adam Cellini. Topping our news tonight, traffic east of I-75 along State Road 64 is rapidly increasing according to the people who drive there, and it's becoming dangerous for some of those families. ABC 7's Erica Jackson joins us live from the intersection of Grayhawk Boulevard and State Road 64 to tell us how the Florida Department of Transportation plans to relieve some of this congestion. Erica?
Good evening. Here at the intersection of State Road 64 and Grayhawk Boulevard, you'll find a memorial for John Fry. He was a pedestrian that was hit by a car. And now, according to statistics from the Florida Highway Patrol, that incident is just one of 23 crashes that have taken place at this intersection over the last 5 years. And now state officials are working on a plan to slow drivers down. Some nearby homeowners drive down 64, making it hard for families to safely turn onto the road. To slow drivers down, the Florida Department of Transportation is exploring 3 roundabouts along this 1.5-mile stretch of 64. Construction is expected to begin next year for a project on Rye Road, and a project development and engineering study is underway for Lorraine Road to determine design and construction costs. Another study is planned for this intersection here at Grayhawk Boulevard, and some homeowners are a fan of the idea, but worry it might take some time to get used to.
In the mornings during rush hour, it can take 5 to 10 minutes to get out, just with traffic, oncoming traffic, especially if you got to go straight across over the Pope Road. It could be challenging.
Like with anything new, people don't like change, and it's going to take a while to change their habits.
Now, FDOT hopes to begin construction for the other 2 projects starting in the year 2021, pending on state funding. Reporting live in Manatee County, Erica Jackson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you very much, Erica. In other news, police are on the lookout for an armed robber after a Bradenton convenience store was robbed overnight. Deputies say the suspect entered the Quick Stop convenience store located on 26th Avenue West in Bradenton around 10:30 p.m. That's where the clerk was held at gunpoint and that person took an undisclosed amount of cash. He was last seen leaving the store on foot, heading south through an adjacent apartment complex. And if you recognize the person in these surveillance photos or have any information on the case, you are asked to contact the Bradenton Police or Manatee County Crime Stoppers at the number listed on your screen. Amid hurricane season, a local home improvement store on the Suncoast is working to make sure that everyone is prepared. Lowe's on Sarasota Parkway and US 41 hosting a hurricane preparedness event this afternoon for those interested in learning more about what they can do to reinforce their homes. Experts were on hand to answer any questions on everything from hurricane shutters to what crucial supplies every home should have.
We want people to be aware of the dangers and the necessities they should have in their home: clean water and flashlights, batteries, safe first aid kits. The simple little things that you should always have in your home, but especially to be prepared for a hurricane.
And if you missed that event today but want to learn more about the steps you should take to get your family prepared, we've got your back. Check out ABC 7's official 2017 Hurricane Guide, which can be found on our website, mysuncoast.com. And speaking of weather and possibly hurricanes, I don't want to jump the gun. Let's head over to Wendy Ross. There's a little bit of activity out there in the tropics, right, Wendy?
Oh, yeah. The tropics are definitely starting to get heated up, and you can see from our enhanced satellite imagery all of this moisture down here in the Caribbean. The area that we're focusing on is just to the south and east of the Yucatan Peninsula, and this is where we've got a system right now. This system does have an opportunity to develop. As a matter of fact, over the next couple of days, a 30% chance of development, but once it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, there's an 80% chance that we could be seeing our next tropical storm. But this is a wait-and-see situation, and we're not sure exactly if it's going to be heading towards Mexico more or more towards Louisiana, but there is plenty of moisture that is certainly going to be coming in as a result of that, and that could be affecting our weather at least by tomorrow. So what we're also looking at is this low pressure system out in the Atlantic. The hurricane hurricane models are showing that it's going to stay down to the south of Cuba for the most part. But again, this is days away. This is over the next 5 days. And this system also has an opportunity for development of 40% chance over the next couple of days and a 60% chance over the next 2 to 5 days. So this again is a wait and see situation. In the meantime, we're just picking up some isolated showers right now, and all of this activity has been developing east of I-75, and it is affecting parts of our viewing area. So tonight, right now, it's nice and quiet for us. We'll let you know what the rest of this weekend is going to be showing up for us, and we'll show you that in just a few minutes. Adam.
All right, thank you, Wendy. Florida health officials have issued their suggestions for new rules to the state's constitutional medical marijuana amendment. The regulation submitted by the Department of Health picks up the framework from the bill passed on June 9th by the state legislature during the special session. Under the amendment approved by 71% of voters last year, rules must be in place by July 3rd and enacted by October. A search and rescue mission is underway for 7 American sailors who were missing after a major crash. Right now, officials are assessing the damage to the American Navy ship and trying to figure out what went so wrong. ABC's Gloria Riviera has more.
A crippled warship limping back into port. The USS Fitzgerald obviously listing as it's towed to shore in Japan. The crew standing along the deck. 7 remain missing.
It's hard to imagine what this crew has had to endure, the challenges they've had to overcome, but I'm extremely proud of their courage and dedication.
Navy officials are still trying to figure out how the 9,000-ton Fitzgerald and a massive 30,000-ton container ship from the Philippines collided. The destroyer severely damaged, the mangled midsection clearly visible.
These are 2 very sophisticated ships, and they should have seen each other.
The crash happened in the middle of the night, about 10 miles from one of the world's busiest ports. The Navy confirming multiple sailors were hurt, 5 so badly injured they had to be medevaced, including the ship's commanding officer.
We still got an active search and rescue going on for our missing shipmates, so please keep them in your thoughts and prayers.
The focus now finding those 7 missing crew members. Officials saying they could be trapped in the caved-in compartments, which housed ship machinery and the radio room. The damage extending below the waterline, hoses pumping seawater out of the ship's belly.
Fitzgerald is one of the most sophisticated ships in the U.S. Navy. It has a special radar and a special set of missiles. The Navy's going to want to backfill this very quickly because the Fitzgerald is going to be out of service for a long, long time.
Gloria Riviera, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump tweeted his thoughts about that collision this morning, saying our thoughts and prayers are with the sailors of the USS Fitzgerald and their families. Thank you to our Japanese allies for their assistance. Back here at home, the popular Sarasota Farmers Market was a bit of a circus this morning as performers amazed shoppers walking around on stilts and juggling, trying to raise money for an opportunity to perform in Washington, D.C. Sailor Circus had a booth at the market this morning trying to raise funds for a trip to the nation's capital where they are set to perform to an audience of over 1 million people this summer during the Smithsonian Folklife Festival.
And we are representing our part of the nation, and 11 other circus schools will be participating in the event. 500 youth performers, and we hope to be a very proud part of that.
Today we're just stilt walking and juggling to show people what we're gonna be doing and to get practice around crowds, because I just started stilt walking a couple months ago, so I haven't had people practice.
And if you'd like a preview of what they have planned for D.C., Sailor Circus will be holding a special send-off performance this Tuesday, June 20th at 7 p.m. before they head out to represent Sarasota and the home of the circus. In order to keep kids safe this summer, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office will be offering a free lesson in water safety. Lessons will be from 9 a.m. to noon next Saturday, June 24th, at the Venice Garden Community Center located on Shamrock Boulevard in Venice. Some of the lessons include water rescue, pediatric rescue, swimming instruction, CPR, and boating safety. The lessons are open to anyone who wants to learn. Still to come here on ABC 7, celebrity comedian Bill Cosby's fate continues to hang in the balance as his trial takes an unexpected turn. And the second inside job attack on U.S. soldiers within a month. The number who have been wounded when we return. At least 4 foreign soldiers have been wounded in Mazar-e-Sharif in northern Afghanistan after an Afghan soldier opened fire on them. The U.S. military confirming that at least some of those wounded are American soldiers. The attack was considered an inside job. Following the incident, soldiers returned fire and killed the attacker. This coming at just a week after another attack killed 3 U.S. soldiers and wounded another after once again an Afghan soldier turned his weapon on Americans during training. The mood in London has shifted from shock to anger as people demand answers after the deadly tower fire. Displaced families asking how the fire destroyed their apartment building as quickly as it did, and many are wondering who is to blame amid the rising death toll.
Sadly, at this time, there are 58 people who we have been told were in Grenfell Tower on the night that are missing, and therefore, sadly, I have to assume that they are dead.
Police have examined the apartment where the fire started. They say there is no evidence it was started deliberately. However, there is a criminal investigation underway into the circumstances of that blaze. After days of deliberation and a few heated exchanges between the judge and defense, a judge has called a mistrial in the criminal case against Bill Cosby. ABC's Maggie Rowley has the latest from outside the courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
The fate of America's dad is still in question. Today, the judge calling a mistrial in the sexual assault case against Bill Cosby.
He walked into this trial presumed innocent. He leaves it presumed innocent.
Reporters in the courtroom say Cosby's team was hugging and congratulating one another. But supporters of his accuser, Andrea Constand, say not so fast.
It's too early for him to celebrate.
The district attorney's office announcing they plan to take Cosby back to court. They're going to do it as soon as possible.
There's no doubt in my mind, in all of our minds, that this was the right thing to do, and so we will push forward.
The jury deliberated for 54 hours, longer than the trial itself, asking a dozen questions, even wanting to know the exact definition of reasonable doubt. Constand accuses Cosby of drugging and sexually assaulting her in 2004. Her case is the only criminal prosecution against Cosby out of the more than 50 women who have accused the comedian of sexual misconduct and/or drugging. Cosby has denied the accusations made by these women.
It's a challenging case, but I mean, for many of the accusers, they think it's a pretty simple case, and that if we're other than Mr. Cosby, maybe there would have been a different result.
Cosby never took the stand himself, but last night he spoke publicly for the first time since the trial began.
I also want to thank the supporters who've been here.
The district attorney's office has 1 year to retry Cosby, but we're told it will happen much sooner, possibly within the next few months. Maggie Ruley, ABC News, Norristown, Pennsylvania.
The University Town Center Mall celebrated dads today with an event geared just for them. Dads and their families had the chance to meet Tampa Bay Buccaneer players Dexter Jackson and Michael Clayton, as well as enjoy some free food and music, and even attend a free cigar tasting.
I mean, that's not intended, but yeah, it happened. I'm a big Dolphins fan, and today I got to meet a Super Bowl champions. It's once in a lifetime.
Based on our turnout and the positive responses from the community, this is an annual event. We're definitely going to repeat.
And in an effort to stay balanced, the mall hosted a similar event for mothers a month ago on Mother's Day. And speaking of perks for dads this weekend, today and tomorrow, Sarasota Jungle Gardens is offering free admissions for dads and granddads, exploring acres of botanical plantings along with birds and animals, shows with Dad on his special day. They get one free ticket for him with the purchase of a full-priced same-day ticket. Sarasota Jungle Gardens is located on Bayshore Road in Sarasota. So if you're not afraid of snakes or other reptiles, there are friendly animals there, but I think that's why I feel like we're always there for the snakes at Jungle Gardens.
It's true. It's really true, though, isn't it? But their parrots are neat.
They are. They're
Yeah,
very cool.
They're very neat. Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't have a whole lot of rain today. We
No,
had
it's
a
nice.
lot of blue sky. Did
Finally.
you notice that?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's been a while. So it was kind of nice to see that we did have some nice weather, and that is also taking place right now, where we are seeing some very nice weather. People are still out and about and enjoying it, and you can see that some of those boaters out on the roadways or out on the waterways. And now when we get back to land, you can see we've only had a few isolated showers that we've been seeing throughout the afternoon hours and into the evening hours, and most of that activity has been east of I-75, and it continues to push off towards the east. So the heaviest rains were right here around Manatee County. Those are already dying out, and we're going to continue to watch those moving off towards the north. So we're not expecting to see a whole lot more development for the rest of tonight. It's going to be a nice quiet night tonight as these showers continue to push on off towards the north and east. And in the meantime, in the past 24-hour period, we've had pockets of heavy rainfall. You can see the amounts here, almost 2.5 inches, 1.8 inches. We're looking at the same sort of thing. I just highlighted the heaviest rainfalls that came around. Some places not getting anything, especially along the coast. Most of the rain took place east of I-75, continues to develop, and then moves off towards the north. And that's what's happening right now. But we have a great deal of moisture now developing just to the south of us in the Caribbean, and what we're watching is all of this moisture that is eventually going to be moving on in, and it's going to provide us some more showers developing for tomorrow. So we'll see more widespread rains as a result of this moisture that's coming on through. And this is an area that we're watching right here as well. In this area, there is the possibility that we could see a tropical system that is going to start getting its act together. That's already what's happening, and it's going to move across the Yucatan Peninsula and then move into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, during that time period, there's a 30% chance of development over the next 48-hour period. That's while it's tracking across land. But once it moves into the Gulf, now we're looking at an 80% chance. And right now, it's too early to tell if it's going to move off towards Mexico, or does it move closer to New Orleans, or does it get closer to Florida? We don't know. It's a wait-and-see situation, so that's what you're going to have to do. Wait and see. In the meantime, farther out into the Atlantic, we've got another low pressure area. This one is going to continue to track on towards the west-northwest, and we're looking at this over the next 5 days. There's the potential that it too could develop. Right now, the models are keeping it south of Cuba, but again, we're not for sure about that at this point. We don't have centers of these systems yet, so we're looking at a 40% chance of development over the next 2 days and a 60% chance after that. So that's what we're going to continue to monitor, and we will certainly keep you posted right here. Today we got up to a high of 88 degrees. Temperatures right now are still quite warm along the beaches. Where it has rained, it is just a little bit cooler. And as the week progresses and the weekend progresses, we are looking at a 60% chance of showers for tomorrow. If you are planning any outdoor activity tomorrow with your family, just keep in mind that the rain is likely to come latter part of the day. Sometime around 5 o'clock is when we can expect to see the showers, but we could see some isolated rains taking place throughout the day, but it's going to be the heavier stuff will come on in late in the day. Adam?
Now, sports.
It's been the tale of two teams for the Rays this season, home versus away. At Tropicana Field, the team is 21-15, but on the road, nearly an exact opposite, 14-20. The Rays losing 13-4 in Detroit on Friday, where starting pitcher Erasmo Ramirez gave up 10 runs on 9 hits in the Rays' third straight loss, second straight to the Tigers. The Rays pitchers are currently 18th in the MLB with a road ERA of 4.65, while the offense is producing an average of just 4.5 runs during those away games. Game 3 against the Tigers started around 4 this evening, and so far, so good. The Rays up 1 run in that game with Chris Archer on the mound. The state of Florida also well represented at this year's College World Series. Florida and Florida State are 2 of 8 teams left in the hunt for a national championship. It's the Seminoles' 23rd trip to Omaha, where they haven't played in a title game since 1999 and have never won. The Gators lost the championship series back in 2011 and are in Omaha for the fourth time since then, thanks to 2 gutsy wins against Wake Forest in a regional that was pushed back a day after rain in Gainesville.
It hasn't been pretty, but somehow we found a way to get here, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Sure, it's something that we all
dream about. I don't give a flip how many times these guys have been out here. It still feels new.
Florida State with 2 here in the 8th. Crappy vet Mike Martin. Florida State starts their path to the title in just a few minutes against LSU tonight. And the Gators will be the second game tomorrow, taking on Texas Christian University, TCU. And that game starts at 6 p.m. And here's a quick look at the leaderboard out of Erin Hills for the U.S. Open and PGA Golf. 4 Americans in the top 5 today. Justin Thomas jumping into the first place, shooting 63 in the first round. And as you can see, 3 players currently tied for second. More to come here on ABC 7. Stay with us.